Look at me at my border right there. That's right, I tell them everywhere I go. I tell them without saying a word. Who do I love? Who's my team? The Raiders! That's right, it's that time again for the best damn opening, woo, in Facebook Live and YouTube now. They're boring. History! That's right, and you know it's true because it came out of my face. What? Let's go! What? Even in the off season with little stuff to talk about, I still get excited as my Hernandez. Don't act silly. Let me give you guys a good pimp slide tonight. I haven't done a good one in a while. Two-fingered. No jokes. Often imitated, never duplicated. That fool with no hair that shouts like Ric Flair. Woo! The R8RBEAR! You saw it. I'm not doing it twice. R8RBEAR! Don't let the rumors go to your head. I did not go to Mexico. I did not get lost overseas. I was not held over in Dubai because of my jewelry. Just had stuff to do, okay? What? Well, I'm getting ready. I've got my stuff. I'm ready to go. Shut up. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in. R8RBEAR family, R8RBEAR family page. I am your host, this little guy. Oh, wait. I know some of you guys have seen this one. Dibs on the redhead every time I go anywhere, and I mean anywhere, with Linda, Mama Bear. They immediately, the women, they look at me and they go, oh, you're such a sweetheart wearing that out in public for your wife like that. It's just, it's so kind. You're just, gosh, he must just be an angel. That's what they say to Linda. And then guys see me and go, look me up and down. What's the matter with you, man? I don't know. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you all tuning in. And Tradish! R8RBEAR Live. First comment. MVP tonight goes to the reigning, defending, heavyweight champion of the world, that emoji-making son of a gun, Mark Vargas, who I thought was my friend, but, when we lived in Arizona together, he couldn't find time to visit me and do the show. None of that's true. I just made it up because it made it funny. Second place, my silver medal goes to John the Lion. John. From now on, the L stands for legacy, because you've been winning too long, man, for it to just be about dropping L's and all that stuff. You are definitely in legacy mode right now. Definitely legacy mode right now. And since last time I gave him the Wolverine claws, tonight I give the third place gold medalist my machete. It's not really technically a machete. It's more like a Bowie knife, but it's just super freaking deadly. And in Raider cuddlers, I could kill someone and be a Raider fan at the same time still. I mean, it's awesome. Kids never kill anyone with a large knife. That's a bad thing. Uncle Bear was just making a joke. David Pelcaliva! DPC Mount Rushmore in the house. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR. David Pelcaliva, my guy, my gold medalist right now, my reigning defending champion of the world right now, Mark Vargas. He's trying to follow in your legacy. The guy's been whooping a lot of for a while now. You know, like that kind of can that Steve Austin used to always crack open. He's been doing that for a minute here. Facebook! Gold medalist, #1, numero uno, El Jefe. Did anyone really doubt it? Is anyone really surprised? Everyone kneel! Carlos! Boy, kids! And if you don't like it, do something about it, okay? Speaking of people I happen to really like a lot. Second place, my silver medal goes to two people, him and his lovely wife. Steven Shaw! And the little Mrs. Shaw thrown in there too. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for a Raider family. Always. I was just thinking about how beautiful your family is, and it made me say Raider family. I apologize. He's got 2 kids, and they look great. Third place, my bronze medal goes to that sultry sounding son of a gun. LP Lucky Pace. You know, Lucky, you know, you're starting to look, you know, you had this thing with Carlos Boykins, you know, it was every night for months. You know, gold, silver, gold, silver, gold. You two just, you know, going back and forth. Now, it wasn't too much of a rivalry because, you know, he continuously won the gold and you continuously won the silver. So it's not really a rivalry unless you guys kind of, you know, exchange the championship over and over again. You know, you need to work on that. I met him in person. I love the guy. He can take it. He knows I love him. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you all tuning in. Honorable mention goes to Joe Holman, as usual. Always right on the cusp of a victory, but kind of watching from outside the fence. Why am I picking on my audience tonight? Well, I'm sorry. I'm in a good mood. I'm glad to be on the air. Hi, Casey Standard. Even though you keep sending me things about pickles, you're still better than Bob. He keeps sending me my former players on his team playing well, and that just sucks. So, welcome to the show, everyone. Jim Garrison, I see you there. Carlos Magana, always there for R8RBEAR on both YouTube and Facebook. And if you're on YouTube, please would you hit that subscribe, hit that bell button. If you don't want to do it right now, let me earn it. I'm going to put on a show for you guys. And if you think I did a good job when I'm done, go ahead and hit a subscribe and give me a like and blah, 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 and all that good stuff. Okay, so moving out and on to football. There's a sense on the team that the moves we've made make us significantly better. That the mind trust that is Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, bringing that offense together, it looks like we may really surprise some people and really do some things. Now, there are those that would shout out to me, but Bear, come on, what about, you know, we got to see him on the field first. You know, a lot of these guys are rookies. You know, Jack Besh, you know, who our wide receiver, who I happen to think is going to be nice from day one. From day one. Now, when you look at a rookie, okay, a rookie player in any sport, you name it, we can debate it. But at almost every level, when you have an athlete that's physically superior, physically strong, they can usually shake off that label of rookie and show you what they got right from day one. I feel like Jack Besh is that guy because he plays Raider football already. Get the ball, be physical, never fumble, fight for every catch, and always come down with the ball. Oh, sorry if I sound like I'm talking about Michael Mayer again, who's the blueprint of that. Mr. Combat Catch won that. When they created the stat, he won it back-to-back years. He was #1 in college football in combat catches. Michael Mayer is a ticking time bomb for the rest of the league. The moment we get him to click in and understand and feel comfortable in this offense, it's over. And honestly, I'm saying when we do, not if we do, only because if Michael Mayer was out there by himself at tight end and didn't really have a mentor or someone to look up to, someone to work out with, I would tell you he's probably going to fail, especially when he started as a mental case and ended up leaving for undisclosed reasons and blah, 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 blah. Fast forward now, you've got Brock Bowers breaking records in his rookie season, and a Michael Mayer who we thought was going to do something similar, maybe not break all the records, but was going to be really good, a standout guy. And now we're starting to see he's getting his head right. We've already got Brock Bowers, already shook the league and looked like the best tight end in football. And they couldn't really say that because that would be disrespectful to some of the other tight ends in football because he's so young and he's a rookie. But he's the best tight end in football. There's no doubt about it. He is the best tight end in football, and it won't be long before people in the mainstream of media start to say Brock Bowers is the best tight end in football. Craig Gilmore, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Bear, you like my Braves tattoo? I got more to go and more Raider tattoos. You know what, Bob? You can't catch me. You started too late, okay? You can't catch me. Look, man, I'm covered all up. Okay, got my Raider one. You know, I got the chest. I got the back. You know, I got my stomach, both sides, and my ribs. Come on, man. It's a lot of work. That's a lot of work to catch up on. Now, I have nothing on the waist down, so if you're tough and you can do your legs, hey, now you'd have something. Because if you sleeved one of your legs, that's a lot of work because your leg's a lot longer, than my arms, obviously. Glenn Medina, appreciate the love, brother. Good to see you. Let's see. Don't be wearing that shirt out, Mama Bear, being around. All right. Tim Newport. Hi, Peggy. Our little princess and princess, our prince and princess are out cold, and I'm here with the most rabid and Raider but lovely Steeler fan ever. Hey, Tim Newport. Could you tell Peggy to tell me how things are going with Jalen Ramsey? Or has she not heard? Uh-oh. Have I already said too much? Oh, no. Yeah, me hears that some of the players already rubbing the wrong way with Mr. Prima Donna. I'm the man. I'm Mr. Cover Corner. I'm the second coming of Deion Sanders. You guys have to show me respect. Whole Steeler locker room went. Wait, what? You act like we haven't seen your career up until this point. Please. No, it's just I heard that he's having some problems already in camp with some of the other teammates and coaching staff and general manager and the owner and. I'm just reporting what I heard, Peggy. I'm sorry. Oh. Bear, do you see any upcoming signings since training camp is basically 2 weeks away? Carlos Boykins, my heavyweight champion. I would say to you that I do see the Raiders kind of nosing about a defensive end that plays for the Cincinnati Bengals that's in contract negotiations still. He was their first-round pick. I believe it was 17th overall. Forgive me, I'm going off memory on that. And if he does not accept the Bengals' next offer, there is word around that there is at least 4 or 5, I've heard even 6 teams that are willing to make moves right now to get that kid in their room because the guy can ball, but for whatever reason he's in some sort of contract beef with the Bengals, and they don't feel like fighting with him. Glenn Medina, my mom kind of had a medical scare just recently, really just a few days ago, and it's tough. I'm a mama's boy, but my mom's tough too, so that's where I got it from, so we're doing all right. Benny Arriaga, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Donna, I appreciate you asking too, Glenn. Donna Vargas, hi. Will you be going to a preseason Cards game versus the Raiders game next month? Donna, I'm actually looking into that. I don't even care what the seats are because, to be quite honest with you, it's preseason. I'll probably just walk the ring and get food and then, watch parts of the game here and there. But to answer your question simply, yeah, I'll probably be there. If nothing else, I know there's going to be Raider family in the parking lot tailgating and making food that I don't like to miss. So, but Donna Vargas, I'll look for you. And look for Mama Bear, that super bright red hair. I'm telling you, I've had more than one fan tell me I only found you because I saw Mama Bear. Because I'm tall, but a lot of guys are tall. You know what I mean? Damn, on my phone it shows me in second. No, Joe. No, the kiosk doesn't work that way. It's only what comes into mine. I've been having people argue with me that. I had people send me pictures of their screenshots. I'm like, you don't understand. That's showing you what it believes is when you went into my queue holder, not when my system accepts you into the queue holder. It's all Facebook. I don't, it's not me doing it. I swear. It's their system that decides who came in first, who came in second, who came in third, and just throws out the comment. That's why so many people in the old days, when I would tell them that, they would just put one letter. They would just put H, meaning hi. You know what I mean? But they wouldn't even put the I in. They would just put in H. Steven Shaw! We appreciate all stars contributed to the show. They go directly to props and stuff that we actually use to help the show get better. And this border you see that I have that's new and fancy. And much other things, programs. But mainly we also give a good portion of that to charities all over the world. And we've begun working here in Arizona. And we've also started working recently with the Wounded Warriors program, a suggestion for one of my other viewers. And I really appreciate it because it's turned out to be kind of cool. Jim Garrison, I appreciate the love on the hat. Not saying I'm speaking from experience, but if you use that blade, someone don't leave a witness. Ellis Irving, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. I'm doing good. I like that lid, man. Nice hat. Matt Marinovich, Besh may lose some practice time being forced to hold out because of the second round NFL holdouts. Matt Marinovich, that's a great point as usual. Matt's been watching me for years. He makes great comments all the time, and I will just piggyback that and say this. I think Besh, though, will be too important once they get him out on the field and actually see him catching balls and making moves. Because the thing about Besh that people can't know without seeing him is that he's, oh gosh, I wish I could remember his name. I know some of you will remember this guy's name. He was a tight end. He played for the Giants and later on for the New Orleans Saints. He had blonde hair, and he acted like a pro wrestler. Whenever he would catch the ball, he would like try to run through everyone, and then he would get up and say, "Get off me!" to everyone that would try to lay on the pile. And a lot of people liked him and his sassiness, you know, because he was very over the top. Seemed like a professional wrestler. Anyway, long story short, that's how Besh is. Besh pushes guys. He stiff arms guys on like every chance he gets. And he has decent speed for a guy his size. He surprises you with a decent amount of pull-away speed. Jeff Foster Jr., what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Jeff, you're going to have to take that bag off of your profile pic soon, brother. We're going to show you. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not questioning your fan loyalty, not at all. Just saying the team's going to say, okay, it's time to take that bag off. TTV, Coach V2, I actually prefer watching on YouTube. I can minimize you on my phone if I need to, and your stream stays up. Okay, right on. I appreciate that any way you can. Kenny Blair, whoa, where's my guy? Kenny! Oh, pinky for Kenny, because he's all the way from the land of whiskey and crumpets in the British nation. My guy, KB, Kenny Blair. Appreciate the love, brother. Always subscribing to Raider Bear Family. Always giving stars Raider Bear Family page. From an ocean away. And I do have quite a few other ocean away fans that kind of give more quietly. Donna Vargas, that would be dope, honestly. And Mama Bear digs that. She loves meeting our female Raiderette family. This is Peggy. I love my Steelers, but you can't badmouth them because I'm honest. There would probably be a good number of college teams that could be this weekend. This will be Tomlin's first losing season, and then maybe we'll get rid of him, and to me, that would be a win. Damn it, Peggy. You can't take my fun out of punishing you about your team stinking if you agree with me. That's, you know. Appreciate your coolness, as always. What's up, James? Welcome to the show. And Princetta. Hi, Princetta. I appreciate the love, Steven. I really do. I really do. Appreciate the love. You too, Glenn Medina. What's our expectation, or what's my expectation of our defense this year? We're going to play the run much better. I like how we're going to be in the middle of the line, although we've lost some depth with John Jenkins leaving us. In the middle interior of the line. It gives us an opportunity to really see what Tonka Hemingway is. And I don't care if he's a rookie. It's still just football. You know what I mean? He's got to go out there and show if he can do it. I like the idea of push him out there and into the pool, even if they can't swim. And I want to see how they react. Do they just surrender and accept that they can't swim? Or, you know, do they start going hard and come back up and say, I got this, coach, you know, Coach Bear, and then start swimming to the shallow end, and it looks terrible. It takes 10 minutes, but they do it. You know what I mean? I like kids like that. You know what I mean? They think survival. Whether it looks pretty or not, I'm going to swim. You know what I mean? And I think Tonka Hemingway, personally, just from the things I've heard about him, I think he's that dude. And JJ Pegas, maybe even more so. JJ Pegas is just, I'll just say JJ Pegas on the inside got a lot of Marshawn Lynch in him. Lot of Marshawn. Very street, very no nonsense, very smart, still an intelligent guy, but no nonsense. So I like what we're going to do there. I like what we've done at linebacker. We haven't just brought in guys. We brought in guys that are veterans. Jermaine Pratt is really nice. We're going to have a linebacker now that can actually run with some of these tight ends. And so I like it. Now, at defensive back, I feel like they should just let these kids grow up. Jacorian Bennett made a huge leap from rookie to second season, now going into his third. I think he's going to be really good. Now, you add to that the bonus of one of the best defensive back coaches in history in Pete Carroll. Look it up. He's one of the best in the business at developing defensive backfield schemes and then adding them to the defensive looks that they give, whether it's a 3-4 defense, 4-3, nickel, blah, 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 blah. But those days are kind of gone. Everyone's sort of in a hybrid defense. What would it cost to get the Bengals star, John Leon? I get what you say. I thought you were saying like a Bengals, like literally like a star, like tattooing or something. I know. I was born blonde. I swear. When I tell people that, they can't believe me, but I swear. When I was first born, I had blonde hair. Literally. I held it till I was like 4, and then the sun just started to turn it brown. I'm sure that was very interesting to all of you. I share what? It would probably cost somewhere in the 30 millions kind of area per year. I would say he's probably, because of his age, going to be looking for a pretty big deal. But at the same time, you have to remember he's a rookie. So he's going to come in the rookie apron, and then he's probably going to want a little bonus. So whatever the value of his pick at 17 is, plus a little change. And this isn't the first time we've seen this. We saw Michael Crabtree do this. We saw Eli Manning do this. They come in and they're upset that they weren't picked higher, and their agent explains to them, you're losing X amount of millions just going from pick number 3 to pick number 4 or 5. It can be the difference between like $7 to $10 million, and now it's even more with the market the way it is, and the NFL only going up. Next year's crop will only make more. You know what I mean? Whatever our guy Ashton Genty is getting, you know what I mean? It's more than the person at the exact same pick last year. It just automatically they get bump ups. So they probably just want more. That's all. And it would probably be more. We'd probably have to pay him, but I kind of don't mind that. I think that it's imperative. Jeremy Shockey, Craig Gilmore, score. Thank you very much. Jim Garrison, Jeremy Shockey. Yes, very good. You guys are great. It was Jeremy Shockey. And I feel like Jack Besh is just like that. And if you remember him, and if you remembered his name, you probably do. That guy was kind of a boss hog. It was unfortunate that he had somewhat of a short career, but I don't think we'll have that with Jack Besh, because he's been playing like that all along. All through college, he's been playing like a mugger, like he's breaking in your house and mugging you. And he'll do that at the NFL level. I really believe that. Jeremy McCrary, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Coach, I would say that Besh will get a guaranteed contract. I don't know if they're going to do that for everybody, obviously, but Ashton Genty probably has a certain amount of his contract guaranteed. I would imagine that they would do that for Besh too, because I think his agent is probably selling them on who he is. You know what I mean? I think the Besh signing kind of went under the apron because people just kind of looked at him and thought of him as like an oversized wide receiver. But he uses that to his advantage. He really does. He's not Darren Waller. Darren Waller was a puffed up wide receiver playing tight end. This guy has the body of a tight end playing wide receiver. There's a difference. And he has good speed. He's not a dump truck. He's going to make plays for us. Is our offensive line getting better yet? Well, I like the signings that we made, Glenn. Just to give you an example, when we brought in third-round pick Charles Grant and the guard, Caleb Rogers, also we went back-to-back on those third-round picks. I thought that was massive because we obviously needed help there. We need future there, but we also we brought in guys that are versatile. Both guys have played tackle and guard. And so they're going to be able to come right in and help right away, in my opinion. And guys, I just want to mention him because I won't probably get too much opportunity to mention him. But don't forget about Laki Tassi. When Pete Carroll was asked about Laki Tassi, the young man that we brought over as a program, he's only ever been a rugby player. He's never played NFL football. Let me say that again. He has never played NFL football. Now, I've been doing this show this year exactly 10 years. Yeah, hold for dramatic effect. I've been doing this show for 10 years. I've seen a lot of guys come and go, but I haven't seen too many guys that are 6'6", weigh 350 pounds at defensive line, and the guy is a kid. He's a freaking kid. I don't even think he can buy a beer at this point. I think he's 19 or 20, something like that. I'd have to look it up. I had a tab for him. Let me see here. He's 21 years old. Sorry. He can order a drink as of now. But I mean, God, 6'6", 350. And Pete Carroll was asked, who is it that you're the most excited about now that you've been in camp? You guys are getting ready to break camp. Who have you been the most excited about thus far in camp? And he went, oh, Laki Tassi. Just like that. You guys know that makes a difference. They said, who's been jumping out to you? And he went, oh, Laki Tassi. And just like that. He went, oh, yeah, Laki Tassi. I mean, it's obvious, Laki Tassi. He said it like it was just 100. I got excited when I saw that because we know Pete Carroll's an energy guy. He's a positive guy, so you have to be careful with how much of his hype he gives you because he's only going to give you that. But the way he spoke so quickly about Laki Tassi got me excited. It felt like he was saying, we found something. You know what I mean? This kid knows nothing, and he's already doing stuff for us. We're just asking him, hey, do this. Hey, try this. Hey, do this. Hey, try this drill. And it's just, yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. And does well each and every time he comes back. He looks better. This guy's only 21 years old. I have shoes older than that. He's 21 years old. He's 6'6" and 350 pounds. I don't care what position he plays. If he can keep from getting flags from false starts, it's on. Because I think that's the only thing that'll kill him. Because if he plays defensive line, it's just basically bring Pitbull to park. Bad person is there. Take chain off leash. Say sick him. That's pretty much playing defensive line. I mean, especially with a guy that green, we're just going to tell him. Watch the line. Try to get the running back if it's a running play. Don't commit to one or the other until you see where the ball is. Then Hulk smash. You're Hulk. You know what I mean? And that's all there is to it. I mean, I hate to simplify it to that extent, but that really is all it is. Now, of course, are there stunt plays on the defensive line that he needs to learn? Is there terminology on the defensive line that means, hey, I need you to shift to the left on this play because we think they're going to stack it on that side? Yes, okay, and so he will struggle with that initially. There's no doubt about it. You can't be 100% green of football. And remember, he's not just green of NFL football. He's never played it. He's only 21. He's been a rugby guy overseas, wherever he's from. So he doesn't even have experience playing at the college level. So this is a project. But to see Pete Carroll say that, a guy with that much experience, to say, hey, look out for Laki Tassi. I'm excited. Okay, I'm sorry, moving on. Okay, I screwed up typing. That was supposed to say it would probably be a good number of college teams that could beat us this year. Oh, no, I did know what you meant. I did. I figured that out. I just don't like correcting people unless I have to ask. What's the deal with Alex Kappa? They're putting him as right guard. Will we be getting the Tampa Bay version of the Bengals version or the Bengals version? Probably the Tampa Bay one. I think that he's going to be used strategically. I don't know that he's going to start Matt Marinovich, and if he does, I just feel like they think that they have people that can come behind him if he doesn't play well or something goes wrong. But this is one of those things we have to lay right at the feet of Tom Brady. This is a Tom Brady move. without question. This is a Tom Brady move. I trust that guy. I know what he is. I can motivate him even from up here. You know what I mean? Just talking to him in the locker room, that kind of thing. He feels like he's going to have enough and play great. This is Jeff Jr., by the way. The bag on the head, dude. Bag's almost off. Right on. Tonka going to get those goal line carries. Now you laughed. You wrote LOL, but there's some truth to what you're saying. He did run a lot with the ball in rugby, so he's not going to be foreign to the ball. Now, those of us who are old enough, and don't anyone mention ages, please. Let's just move forward. But for those of you who can remember the Super Bowl Shuffle coming through, the Super Bowl Shuffle, that song sucked it through and through. And there was that thing that thank you very much, thank you. The 85 Bears made that song, and a big thing and theme that they did was that their defensive lineman, William the Refrigerator Perry, would make carries at the 1 yard line. He was doing it during the season to show that it's effective, that he can hold on to the ball and he can run over the line and people aren't going to get in his way. And if they do, he's going to go through them. And most of the time he did. And let's not, get caught up in lore, you know what I mean? And everything's legend, you know what I mean, with guys like that. He did get stuffed sometimes. He did get nailed sometimes because obviously if you bring him out, you're not running anything else. And so the defense could really key up on attacking the middle or the edge, so to speak. And they would stuff him sometimes. But it would work if you tried it, with Lockie. I think it would work because he has way more ball skills than that guy had, and they were able to do it with a guy that was a defensive lineman. This guy's a defensive lineman that's used to playing rugby football and running all over the place with the ball. So I could see him doing it. Lucky pays. What do you think about Derek Carr wanting to come to a Raider game on the sideline this season? I think it's desperate. I think somehow he's trying to, remake his image with the fans. I don't like it at all. I think that he should just go be retired. Joe Montana didn't ask to hang around with the Niners. Jerry Rice didn't hang around on their sidelines. You know what I mean? Steve Young doesn't hang around on the sidelines. He does some broadcasting here and there and blah, blah, but you know what I mean? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like anything about it. It's like, what is he there to do? Second guess, things, and, support the team. Okay, do it from the luxury box. Go sit with Mark Davis. But on the sidelines? You know what I mean? Because inevitably what's going to happen. Is he coaching the quarterback? Is he working with Gino? Which, did you like the voice change? Working with Gino? But I don't want that. I don't want Derek Carr to feel like, hey, I'm coming to help out. I'll get into Gino's ear and really teach him a thing or three. Man, get out of here. He's a veteran. He's damn near ready to retire with you and go to Acapulco. He's only got probably 3 or 4 years left in him. Gino's not a kid. He's going to give us a good couple years. After that, we have to see what he did with those 2 years. Then we can talk about years 3 and 4, but he's going to want that if he plays well, and I think we should listen if he does. But Derek Carr, nah, I'm not cool like he pays. Bear, should we trade for Scary Terry from Washington, and what would it cost? I'm not sure what it would cost, Troy Gill, because they'd have to go into some kind of negotiations for us to hear numbers and what's being thrown around. And you know how they do. They base it on his play and his years in the league and blah, blah, blah. But I would say this, it's worth looking. It's worth looking, but I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. No disrespect to Hemingway, but don't be surprised if we see Laki Tassi in the middle of the D line by halfway point, and he'll probably give Hemingway a breather once in a while before then. Joe, I can't add anything to that. I completely agree. I don't know that you'll still end up being right, whether it's Hemingway at first and then Lockie ends up coming in taking the job or vice versa. But yeah, it's going to probably be one of those two guys. And yes, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Lockie can play. I'm excited for our O-line, and having Genty also helps a lot. It does, because Genty's not a tap dancer. And a lot of you know what that means, but just for the handful of you that might not know what it means, a tap dancer is a running back who, right when the quarterback gives him the ball, he takes a look at the offensive line to see who's blocking for him and kind of does a little bit of a slow down, side-to-side kind of jitter, like he's, juking someone. But in reality, he's just trying to buy himself time to see where the hole's going to be, because sometimes there's no hole there. Sometimes the play is meant to go right, and they fake you out with their defense, and they overload the right side. Well, now it's on the running back to, in the blink of an eye, make visual adjustment and make a play. Now, the difference is a guy like Marshawn Lynch, he would do that, but only if he really saw it early. Otherwise, he would commit to, if the play says go right into the A gap, then you go right into the A gap. It doesn't mean just because they read it that we're not going to be able to block well enough for him to still make it through or get a few yards. Ashton Jeanty is disciplined in that way. If you watch his film study, there were times where plays that he was on would get stuffed. And some coaches and analysts would say, oh, look, see, he's not, maybe he's not as good as we know. Look, he got stuffed on that play by a little school. Well, that's because they would tell Ashton Jeanty to go swing right, and the defense would see swing right, and he would see that they see it, and then he would go ahead and run the play and run it as best as he could and get what he could. You know what I mean? And you want that. You don't want a young player to deviate from that, hit the brakes, swing back, run left when he was supposed to go right, and then suddenly he gets stuffed for a 5-yard loss because he thinks going right wasn't going to work. No. Don't think. Do what the play is. If you fire an arrow, you don't expect the stock of the arrow to start arguing with you. Just follow the tip of the arrow and hit the doggone spot. Victor A. Remy, who asked me graciously to go to his wedding with his lovely wife. That's my fan right there. Hey, Bear, did you hear that the Warriors are trying to get Braun, or is he trying to go to Golden State Warriors? Victor, I'll go into this for a second. You know how fluid things are in professional sports with contracts and millions. Everything's fluid. Now, what do we know so far about that situation? We know LeBron was not made privy to the Luka Doncic move. We know that he was not told that Anthony Davis was going to be in that move, and we know that he was not told that they would not give him an extension if he signed his extension for $53 million with all the bonuses and everything. And the Lakers immediately told him, we're not going to give you an extension. So that's it. This one that you get to sign in, this opt-in for 1 year, that's it. Or we may take a trade offer for you. And so LeBron's like, wait a minute, when did I start to stink? When did the Lakers start to fall out of love with me like that? And let's try to remember, too, it's been 8 years of LeBron in L.A., 8 years. And he has one bubble title that no one respects because not even all the teams were competing in the bubble championship. But more importantly, he didn't even hit the shot. It was Anthony Davis that hit the shot that won a very close game that they might have lost, and he might not even have that ring were it not for Anthony Davis's play. Directly, street close Anthony Davis. Any of you that know that nickname know that was a hard, I'm not explaining it, though. To people who don't know, I'm not explaining it. What's this? Scrummenstein. I like that. Hero, wide receiver Mike Williams and Jalen Johnson, safety Elijah Molden, linebacker Delshawn Phillips, and offensive tackle Savion Washington are starting the season on the physically unable to play list, according to Daniel Popper. Not cool. I gotta agree. Tanamoku, Lockie took JPJ to an all rugby match. They were on the sidelines watching them doing the haka. That's dope. I love haka. Jordan Meredith was graded as a top 10 guard last season with just 3 penalties against him and 0 sacks allowed, but yet he's listed as a backup at left guard behind Parham. Well, I just think they feel higher about Parham. They just feel higher about him. And personally, I kind of do too. It's nothing against Jordan Meredith. It's just, I just think Parham's ceiling is higher. I think he's got a little bit more speed as far as foot speed. I think he's a little bit better on his feet. But that's nothing against him. It's the Raiders feel that way too. I've seen video of Rice on the sidelines at Niner games. Tanamoku, it's not that he never goes. He does go sometimes, occasionally, here and there, because that is where his legacy is. But truth is, the tattoo of a Niner helmet that he had on his right bicep, he had it removed. Yeah. Think about that for a second. He got a Niner helmet when he was in his prime and was winning and so on and Super Bowls and so on. And then he went to the Niners and said, hey, I want a 1-year deal so I can retire here. And they went, nah. Seriously, look it up. The ownership was dogging him. It was weird. Arguably one of the greatest players, if not the greatest players of all time. And they dogged Jerry Rice, of all people. I don't care what ownership was in charge of the Niners at that time. I don't care. How do you do that to maybe your greatest player ever? Right there, neck and neck with Joe Montana. Considered by many to be the two best players at their position ever, maybe. Obviously, I keep adding maybe and qualifying it because it obviously is not, you can't just say, that's it, he's the guy, you know what I mean? Like they do with Tom Brady. They say he's the greatest quarterback of all time, bar none, because of how many championships he has. He cheated to get 3 of them. And that's what we know about. He only got caught 3 times. That's just what we know about. And people say, oh, but he moved on from all that. Did he? How would we know? Is he going to tell us? Do you think the NFL wants another scandal with their golden boy who continues to win championships? I'm never going to trust anything about Tom Brady. And I'm letting you know right now, there's probably very few people saying this, but I'm telling you, I'm saying it. Mark Davis isn't going to own the team much longer. It's going to be Tom Brady. He's going to buy it out. He's going to be our owner, and we're going to have to deal with that. Mark Davis is going to see a klajui of money. Klajui, new word. and it's, going to be in the neighborhood of, well, they were worth 3 point something. I think it was 3.25 billion just when they broke ground in Vegas. And then, of course, that went up, and that has went up over time. And so I think it's now 5 billion, 5 point something billion, which obviously would double if they win a Super Bowl and can merge and do all the same things the Chiefs did. If, God forbid, if we go on a run, then they really, the value of the team would really skyrocket. But see, he can be paid for that value estimation now. So that means Tom and whatever conglomerate team he puts together is probably going to have to pay close to $10 billion. Maybe close to $10 billion, which is what the Dallas Cowboys got. And so it won't be more because the Dallas Cowboys are valued higher because of their stadium, which is obviously it's not really better than Vegas' stadium. It was obviously better than one in Oakland, but it's not better than Vegas' stadium, but it is bigger than Vegas' stadium. And you know how that is. You pay more for bigger. So Steven Shaw! I appreciate the love on the stars, brother. Always looking out for a Raider Bear. And it always makes me feel like I'm putting on a good show for you and Mrs. Steven Shaw. So I appreciate you. Scary Terry deserves wide receiver 1 money. He's a dog. Well, Coach, I don't know if I disagree with you about that. I just don't know if we're ready for that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. You know what I mean? When you bring in a Stephon Diggs, or I'll go old school, a Terrell Owens, you're bringing in a guy, you got to coddle a little bit. And I don't know if I want that kind of guy on this team. We already look like we're close with what we have. Dante Thornton is already surprising everyone in camp with what he's doing. Trey Tucker, our small wide receiver, is looking like he's going to finally win the slot position. Jack Besh is nice. Jacoby Meyer had a great season last year. Looks like he could be our number 1 and stay our number 1 and push Dante to the number 2, if anything. And so, where will they fit Jack Besh? It all looks really good. It looks really good. The passing attack with those guys in tandem with the tight ends we have and the running backs we can put out into the flat, and and Ashton Jeanty and that jitterbug speed he has. The offense is going to be scary. It really will. If we can just get the defense to play decent football, we'll be okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent there. When I played ball, I loved when they're running back to tap dance. I was pretty quick off the line. Arthur Munoz, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Mr. Bear, do you think A.J. Cole should... Why do I always start to read your comment as though it won't be a joke and it'll really be a serious question? It's been 10 years of you getting me with these comments, and I still always walk right into it. Ace. Wow, didn't even know the Niners did that to him. Yep, Tana, they did. Jets just paid Garrett Wilson 4 years, $130 million, $90 million guaranteed. The Jets are in a situation. They know they're going to be bad again. You know what I mean? They did a rebuild. It didn't work. They tried to rebuild the rebuild. It didn't work. You know what I mean? They decided to go old. They got away from that coach who, in my opinion, got scapegoated. He wasn't necessarily a great coach, but he wasn't bad that you should be firing him and making him the excuse for things. Peggy is laughing at the look on my face when you said Brady will be our owner. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time. I think the Raiders organization is up to $6 billion now. Yeah, honestly, Matt, we're both kind of right. I think it's $6 billion, close to 7. Like 6 point whatever. That gets us almost to $7 billion. I think if you look at all, they scratched up all the change, they could probably get close to $7 billion, but that's probably it. And that's kind of overestimating. Let's see. So glad that Brady's dating Sydney Sweeney. Thing was just a rumor. Laughed my ass off. Otherwise, the Chiefs games would consist of screen time for Swift and Sweeney. God, I hope he doesn't get involved in that. You know what I mean? Meet some supermodel and then feels like he's got to prancer around the organization. I'm just pegging he doesn't do that. I'm just begging he doesn't do that because it would be very childish. You know what I mean? The guy's got kids. You know what I mean? You're a grown man. You've been in the league and out. You're a grown man. You've signed all these contracts in millions. You have this new job. And now you feel the need to, act like Mark Davis and bring a 24-year-old stacked blonde out. Come on. Just stop, guys. Come on. Steven Shaw, always a great show, R8RBEAR Bear. Appreciate the love, brother. Brock Bowers is our number one. Well, Matt Marinovich, that goes without saying. I just meant number one wide receiver. They'll probably put Jacoby Meyer there. Terry isn't a diva. Far from it. Most humble, elite wide receiver in the league, but I was mostly saying Washington should pay him. Well, Washington should pay him, and we have looked at him. I do know that. I just don't know if they're gonna pull the trigger because we have a voice behind Mark Davis that's a quarterback. And he's had experience with quiet wide receivers, diva wide receivers, crazy nut job wide receivers, Antonio Brown, wherever he is now on the run for murder. Sorry, I could do a whole segment on that. But maybe I will. But Tom is going to probably hesitate unless he agrees that guy's mouth can be backed up by his game. Like, for example, if Stephon Diggs was available right now and he was just chirping, I want to be a Raider, I don't think Tom would be cool with that, just from what we've seen of Diggs on camera and what he's done with his previous teams. So, okay, here's a big one. Stats mean nothing. Before you call a player the greatest ever at their position, you have to consider the era that they played in, especially when you're talking about a quarterback. Before I read the rest of that, I would like to add to that, Joe. I just think that there shouldn't be one GOAT, because then that cancels out every player that didn't play in the era that Tom Brady played in. You know what I mean? And I don't know if, for example, Tom Brady had the exact same team that Joe Montana did. Would he have been as good? Would he have been as good with those players? I don't know. And vice versa. Would Joe have been able to go to the Patriots and win a bunch of games? Hell yeah. And without cheating, too. That man was smooth. But I think that each era should have their time. And to me, the early 80s and, the late 80s and early 90s, wasn't that pretty much where the Niners, obviously I'm not a Niner expert, I don't know all these things about the Niners, but the era that Joe played, I kind of feel like that was his, you know what I mean? And that was all him. And then Tom Brady didn't really come around until shortly after that. He was behind Drew Bledsoe, who was with the Patriots at the time and was all-pro. If Montana would have played under today's rules, he would have crushed Brady's accomplishments. On the flip side, if Brady would have played under the rules, Montana, I didn't actually know you were going to say that. I had to play under, I don't think his candy ass would have lasted 2 seasons. Wow, that's cool. See, now, Joe, we really are like-minded. Because I didn't read the rest of your comment, and I just gave my opinion, and it matches yours. So, bravo. Hat tip. Jesse Parker, my fashion designer right there. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Oh, I can go on a whole tangent about AB. TV and all the fitness of the league to reunite as Tampa Bay to get a ring. I follow all the threads. Right on, man. Great comment. Well, I would say to you this. AB to me is, without question, suffering from CTE. I don't like the fact that he minimalizes it and says, "Yeah, maybe it is or maybe it isn't. I don't know. Woo, I make my own decisions." And he kind of tries to clown about CTE and acting like he's not worried about it or something like that. And I just don't know how you couldn't be worried about it. With the kind of hits he took, with how long he played in the league. I don't know how he couldn't be worried about that. And so I feel bad for him. And I think that is the CTE saying to him, don't act like you're worried about it, because if he does, then he has to accept that, the public might be right, that the reason he's been doing all these outlandish things is because he's lost control of himself to a certain extent. And it's sad. We're seeing it in all contact, though. We see it in MMA and so on and so on. So men have to be allowed to make their choice. Matt Marinich, I hate to just be another person that piles on to that opinion, but I don't see how you can't. It really did. It really did seem to the perfect hit, and then all the hijinks seemed to come from there. And if you go back and you look at his interviews before the perfect hit, he's way more calm. His eyes aren't dancing around. He doesn't constantly do this like depressed rapper interview style. Yeah, I do my thing, you know what I'm saying? I do my thing, you know what I'm saying? I try to be a good man, try to be right for my kids and my loved ones. Yeah. It just ramble on. And it has nothing to do with anything. You know what I mean? Get my next album. But, and remember, don't forget, AB did try to do a rap thing, and he was saying, don't put that S on him, and running around a stage in Florida, and it was really bad. It was really, really bad. It wasn't Will Smith bad, but it was bad. The Will Smith comeback is so bad. All right, now I had something else I had to talk to you guys about. I got to open my tab here and come back to this. Shamar Stewart, I wanted to just say that name out loud. That's the defensive end and the pick from the draft that looks like he's going to be a dog. And if they really can't get to contract negotiations with that guy, I want to do something dynamic like that. Don't just bring in another defensive end. If you can really go get that kid, go get that kid. You know what I mean? And I would cut Malcolm Kuntz and just move on. I mean, we all know what Malcolm Kuntz is. I mean, are we really supposed to keep sitting by and pretending that, if he just gets a couple more snaps, he's going to blossom? If that was going to happen, it would have already. We've given him 3 seasons. He's done nothing. He had the end of one season with AP where he got 8 sacks in 6 games. That's impressive. But that was with AP letting him have those snaps, keeping him on the field no matter what, even with the mistakes he was making, and he was. You know what I mean? But he was able to find a few sacks, and now suddenly everyone thinks that, that rose has blossomed. I don't think it has. I really don't. I don't. I just don't like him. I didn't like Arden Key, and I was right. You know what I mean? I didn't like Tyrone Williams. Tyree Williams. I didn't like him. I was right. Yeah, he's still on the roster. He's never going to be a star. Would probably be smart to trade him right now before people find out that his foot injuries are for real. I would just move on from that guy. I like that Pete Carroll's here. He needs to come in and clean a little bit more house. You know what I mean? I would like to see some of these guys maybe packaged in trades, even if it's for draft picks. For Tyree Wilson, get a 3rd or a 4th round pick for that guy if you can. If it's a 4th or a 5th round pick, fine, just take it. Yeah, he was a 1st round pick, but he's done nothing with it. Nothing. Did I say nothing? I meant nothing. Ramiro Castro said, Ramiro Cashflow Castro, get your ass in here and explain that comment. Excuse my French. All right, let me screen back up. I know I probably missed a comment or two back here. Let me see. No, I covered that. Let's see. Did I miss one? Maybe I didn't miss a question tonight. Not bad, R8RBEAR. Okay. Yeah, I think we're good. Now, wins and losses is something I keep getting asked about, so I'll go into that. I think we're going to get double-digit wins. I really do. but I'm reserving my decision through the preseason. So I'm going to say what I think our win-loss record is going to be before the season starts, but I'm going to get pretty damn close. And yes, Matt Marinovich, Cleve Farrell drove me freaking crazy. He had everything. He had the size. He had the speed. He even had like decent, hand movement and swim moves. Had a great spin move. Really nice. And just could not get himself on track. It was weird. I think just honestly, in that instance, it was just the strength of the game. I don't think Cleve Farrell, I just don't think he had the strength. Mentally and physically, those things have to come together. It's a little bit of both, I think, with him, and I just think he never could put his game together. Yeah, but Stewart is a rookie that hasn't even practiced yet. How do we know if he'll be good? Could be another bust. Already holding out, showing character concerns. Tanamoku, I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm going to say that I see a different angle to that. In other words, maybe he's a guy fighting for the life of his first contract, and he doesn't want to play with the Bungles. And I'm sorry, there's just... Tanamoku, you and I together have to go into the future. Because this is what it is now. Next year, the year after that, and the year after that, you're going to get 2 players here, 3 or 4 players there, that just say, no, I'm not coming in at what it says you pay the 22nd player in the first round. I was supposed to be top 10. Everyone in ESPN and Sports Illustrated said I was going to be a top 5 pick in the first round, top 10 at worst. And then I dropped to 22nd? Well, that's not my fault. You know what I mean? That's just the order of the draft. I'm not going to give up all that money. You know what I mean? That's a lot of money to drop from top 5 or 10 to 22nd. On average, you're probably losing anywhere from $20 to $40 million of guaranteed money. So, if I'm a player, I hold out too. F legacy with what team and blah, blah, blah. These are kids that haven't even gotten into the league yet. I'd argue too. If it meant going to another team, so be it. I mean, if I was a guy coming into the league, and obviously I'm a Raider fan, that wouldn't change. I would want, if the Raiders picked me, I would want my money, but I don't know if I could hold out to where I'd say, hey, trade me or let me go somewhere else. Whereas the Bengals have no history. They had the one time when they had a really good team, and they got to the Super Bowl, and the Niners, gave them one of the best Super Bowls ever as far as, a great show to watch. But the Bengals lost and ultimately never got back and have never been that same team since. Yeah, that's a long time ago. You know what I mean? You're talking over 20 years. 25 years that they were bad before, got to the Super Bowl, and ever since. And sure, they produced a couple teams that went to Super Bowls and things like that. The Marvin Lewis coaching era with the Bengals was impressive. I mean, he kept them going to the playoffs and winning the division and always relevant, but never able to finish because he just never had the talent. So shows what kind of coach Marvin Lewis is. I think he's a great coach because he just took Band-Aids, rubber bands, and chewing gum and would fix an engine and make it race. Straight MacGyver coach. Okay, let's see. Are you drafting Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers in fantasy football? And if so, what rounds? Oh, well, Brock Bowers, first round. Even if it's like beyond like getting your defense, if someone's already picked a defense I like, then it would just obviously be automatic Brock Bowers. But sometimes I like to get my defense first because I just feel like defense wins it. And then you can find other guys that can make contributions like Brock Bowers at different positions. Obviously, we're both diehard Raider fans, and I would want him, so I would take him first, especially if it was between Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty when I don't know what Ashton Genty is going to give us yet, and I already know full well what Brock Bowers is going to give us, and it's Hall of Fame level. So, to me, there's no question there. It's Brock Bowers. God bless you right back, Stephen Shaw. Much love. And I love that profile picture. You guys look great. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da. And it's that time again for me to put all my Raider friends and family and loved ones to bed. I've told you guys many times I won't sing. I cannot sing. That myth about black people all being able to sing, not true. But I do like watermelon, I do like fried chicken, and I am hella fast. R8RBEAR! Much love. I appreciate you tuning in. Please subscribe, like, and follow R8RBEAR family page on Facebook and YouTube if you can. I would really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the show, consider subscribing. I probably should have to be able to say the name correctly, or the word, the name, the word. It's been a long show. I'm just tired. Subscription to R8RBEAR family page on Facebook. It's just $5 a month. You can cancel at any time, but you help us do a lot of work with charities all over the world, and we really appreciate it. Much love, and I will see you tomorrow. R8RBEAR family page. Peace, chicken grease, and let's all move to the Middle East once they stop shooting missiles. I just tried to make it rhyme. That was all. I don't know. I mean, maybe I